Hello, colleagues who have joined us recently, and thank you all who have been staying with us from the previous talk. It's BA Excellence Conference that is conducted by the global BA community, and we're happy to see all of you with us. Just a small mandatory part. The session is Yes, sorry. So just a small mandatory part that the session is being recorded. The recording will be available in approximately 1 week after the session. You are more than welcome to leave questions on the agenda page on wearecommunity.io or on YouTube channel Business Analysis Community. You can rate the talk of the speaker if you like it on We Are Community page. And today with us, our next speaker is Lilia Sapogovskaia, and the topic is prioritizing for success, crafting a B2B product strategy document from scratch. Lilia, hello, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. And before we start, I have a small question just to get to know you better. So, how it happened that you actually appeared to be working to be a product manager in Uber? What was your path?
Yeah, sure. So I started my career as an engineer, and after a few years, I got exposed to product management, and I really liked it. So after that, I decided to stick around with product management and worked for several companies as a product owner or product manager, and joined Uber almost 2 years ago. At Uber, I focus on building an internal marketing solution products, and I mainly focus on the experimentation, audience management, and keywords.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for these details. So, the stage is yours. It's your time to shine. Good luck. Enjoy.
Thank you. Okay, let me share my screen. Can you see it? Okay, I think you should be able to see it. Yes, so hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about how to craft a B2B product strategy document from scratch and how to apply it to prioritization. So for those of you who just joined or maybe missed the part where I introduced myself, my name is Lilia and I work as product manager at Uber. I live in Amsterdam for 7 years, and before Uber, I worked for the companies like BBDO, Rambler, Fuga, and Backbase. I started math and computer science and was lucky enough to be a developer for a few years. So did you know that around 30,000 of new products introduced each year, and nearly 95% of them actually fail? This happens to many reasons, and rarely it happens because the teams lack ideas of what to build. Prioritization is actually one of the key reasons why the teams fail to stay on the market. And we will talk about how to help with the prioritization and how to address it. So Prioritization is important in any type of the product, but in B2B, we should consider the following things. You have longer sales cycles and specific customer needs. So the prioritization will be crucial because your sales team needs a bit more time to present the features and need to explain to the prospects what exactly is going to happen. The second one is the strategic alignment and business objectives. Prioritization will help you to align your product roadmap with the client's business needs and their objectives, because then it will be easier for them also to understand which pain points and which business goals from their end will be addressed by your product. And the last one is scalability. Prioritization is crucial in B2B, and it allows you to demonstrate the clear return on investment and scalability potential. In B2B, the decisions often involve larger investments, and they impact multiple departments within the business. But prioritization is not easy. It always comes with the challenges. And we'll start from looking at the most popular ones. So the first one in B2B is overwhelming number of requests and ideas. And this happens because you have so many different stakeholders. You have internal stakeholders such as engineering team, marketing, legal. You also have existing customers, and you have prospects, which are often represented by the sales team. As a result, you might face misaligned priorities because each group of the stakeholders will have their own vision of what is the most important thing in the product. And then it all leads to resource allocation issues. With limited time and team's capacity, even your own time, it's really difficult to optimize resources for the maximum impact. And changing requirements. I think in my career, maybe in 90% of the time, requirements change after you start building something. So prioritization will be a challenge here as well. Now I want to give you an example from my career. We will review the steps that were done by me and also the results that they led to. And I will ask you to think about what actually could be done better in this example. And throughout the whole presentation, I will be giving you a bit more insights into the theory, into the practice, so that it might spark some ideas in you. So I was a product manager for a reporting tool that was used by internal teams and external clients. And soon after joining the company, it became obvious that users didn't believe that the product makes their life easier. I started from gathering feedback, and we ended up having a meeting with a dozen of people, and everyone came with the notes, which was great. Of course, you always want to see your stakeholders being engaged with the product you build. However, the notes were not just the bugs or issues they were facing, they were also ideas and improvements they wanted to see on the platform. And everyone had their own vision of what is the most important for their team. So I collected all of them and asked the senior manager to prioritize, because a lot of the priorities from different teams were contradicting to each other. So I wouldn't say that it all went wrong, and I think what I was able to do is actually to establish the trust with the team and get their buy-in into what we were building. But as a result, the product became overcomplicated and it was difficult to maintain. So looking back at this experience, I actually think I would change some parts in this journey a bit. And later in the presentation, as I mentioned, I will get back to this example and I will show you my perspective on what I would change today. In the meantime, I encourage you to write your comments and what you would do differently. Maybe take a screenshot of this slide so that you have it at hand throughout the presentation, and feel free to post your comments. Okay, I hope everyone who wanted to make a screenshot, they did it. So moving on to the next one. So if prioritization is such a challenge, maybe it doesn't make to spend your efforts on it. But here's the trick. If you don't prioritize, you will end up with the delayed launches, because without a clear prioritization, development teams will end up with working on less valuable items. It will cause the delays, and high impact features will not be delivered on time. Always remember that you actually have constraints, and one of them is time. So delayed launches will lead you to customers' dissatisfaction, because failing to address the critical customer needs will result in failing them. And you will see the reduced adoption rates. You will get negative impact on the product success in the market in general. And the last one here is suboptimal solutions. Building ad hoc features may result in delivering a product that lacks cohesiveness, and it doesn't solve the problems end to end. So what is the solution? Having a strategy document can tremendously help with the named challenges, and it will help you to address the issues we just listed. It will provide you with the structure and a framework to make the prioritization decisions. Product strategy can serve you more as a blueprint that outlines the product vision, goals, and roadmap for development. It guides you and your team with decision-making process and ensures alignment across the whole organization. So what are the key pillars of the strategy document? First, it's clear objectives. You have to define measurable and achievable goals for the product. And these objectives serve as the guiding light for all development decisions. For example, a clear objective could be achieving a 30% reduction in onboarding time for B2B clients within the next quarter. The second pillar to the strategy document is precise prioritization, because it will be about the document will explain how you focus and what you focus on. It will enable you to explain clearly what exactly you're gonna build and what you're not gonna build on. So choosing to prioritize a new client's dashboard feature because it directly aligns with the onboarding time reduction objective is a good example of how you can use strategy documents and how you can use a clear objective to make a prioritization decision. And the last point is transparent communication. Communication is the key in product management, and it allows you to ensure everyone is on the same page about the next steps, and most importantly, it gives you the ability to justify your decisions. Saying no to stakeholders can damage the trust you've been building, but when you use your strategy to explain the reasons behind this choice, you are given a comprehensive background story. How can you do that? For example, you can share with them a goal-oriented roadmap that will explain how the roadmap items contribute to the identified objectives and goals. A goal-oriented roadmap combines the output and the outcome. And if you're not familiar with the goal-oriented roadmaps, I would advise you to check a website from Roman Pichler, who came up with this concept. He has a template of goal-oriented roadmap, so feel free to check it out and start using it. So what is the role of strategy in prioritization? Strategy documents always acts as a compass in the decision-making process. It guides the whole team on which features to prioritize, and it ensures the alignment with the product's overarching goals and objectives. So let's talk about how to craft the strategy document. First, let's review two stages here. The first one is crafting, and strategy can be crafted from the ground up. Basically, it's when you take the company mission and you derive how exactly your product can contribute to the mission of your company. So in this case, you would have predetermined goals and insights. However, it also goes hand in hand with continuous discovery. And discovery would involve uncovering new strategies through the analysis and adaptation to the market, because the market can change, your clients can change. So staying agile in this way, you will succeed. And depending on the organization setup, your team and your product, you actually might shift from one approach to another all the time, or you can actually stick with just one of them. And remember, you have to use this more as a guidance and not as a strict rule. So I want to talk to you about how to actually create a strategy document and what to include. You can find a lot of materials on the internet, some ready templates, but I will talk about my personal experience. So over time, I developed a certain structure that helps me. And it doesn't mean that it will be also helping you, because you might be working in a completely different organization, but you can use it more as an inspiration or as an example of a template. So in my practice, I always start with a product mission. I always start with a product mission. And the product mission actually includes the main reason why your product exists, why you keep building it. I personally also like to add an adoption map to of the product, because it helps you to understand what is being used. It really depends on the situation and the maturity of your product. But if you manage a B2B product, you likely have more than one feature and more than one client. So draw a map of all the key features that you have and your customers, maybe even your prospects, and map out what they already use or would like to use from the current offering. The next step is to collect feedback and do the market analysis. So when it comes to collecting feedback, it might be just from your direct users, but it can also include internal stakeholders. For example, if you have a support team, make sure to interview them, because sometimes they know more about your product than you might think. And when collecting feedback, try to focus on both positive and negative points. When focusing on positive points, you will actually get insights into what your customers like and what delights them, and you can learn from it. Because you will understand the product strengths that you already have, and you can scale these strengths to other parts of your product. Next, ensure that you also collect your users' ideas for improvements and their objectives. Asking why is the key here. Don't just blindly build whatever your users tell you to build. But you also have to stay empathetic and curious about their experience, and it will come naturally. The competitors' analysis can be done before or after the user interviews. It really depends on your own knowledge of the product and the market. And both approaches actually have their own pros and cons. So if you want me to elaborate on this, feel free to write it in the comments and we can dive deeper into it. But in general, the analysis should include the overview of your competitors, their mission statements, product offering, key clients they have, and some highlights and lowlights. So while these two sections focus more on the research, the next two are pure about the analysis and reviewing the collected information. So the third section here is to include the core objectives for the product. They should be a result of analyzing all the data points you have collected so far. And how to come up with good objectives is a big question, but I would advise to consider your business priorities and your user goals. So try to group their problems by objectives and review how it all correlates with your mission statement. There is no strict recipe here because data will differ from case by case, but you're an expert in your product and you have all the data points. So it's up to you to derive the key objectives. And the last section can be dedicated to the key results and roadmap. Here you should be more specific and clearly define the objectives that are measurable and achievable. You can link the ideas to the key results, and you will then get a goal-oriented roadmap. So that's kind of a blueprint that I personally like to use, but of course you can find some other ones that might be more fit in your situation. Once you have your product strategy documents, you have a bit more steps to go. So first, start with the team's alignment. Ensure that everyone is aware of the direction you want to take and they understand the rationale behind these choices. Also, don't forget to continuously use this document to prioritize new requests and ideas. It's a live document that is meant to be used and changed over time. And lastly, optimize resources by saying no to the requests that don't contribute to your objectives. Remember that you cannot build everything and satisfy the needs of every stakeholder. So let's finish with the theory and move to the practice. Imagine you managing a B2B marketing automation product. As we discussed, start from identifying the mission statement. For this example, let's say it will be empower businesses to reach prospects and convert them into clients. The next would be to interview your users. So conduct user interviews to gather insights on their pain points and needs. Identify diverse groups of users who might give you input. And this can be active customers, internal stakeholders, churned users, or prospects. It really depends on your case and your product maturity, as well as the mission statement. So, for example, in the user interviews that you've conducted, many of the users raised the problems with generating leads, lower conversion rates, and keeping their clients engaged after they converted. So the next step for you to identify core objectives. Now that you have both your product mission and feedback from your users, you can identify the objectives of the product. What would actually delight your users? So leads generation and improved conversion rates may be a good starting point because it was raised by the consumers and it actually directly correlates with the product mission, and likely low clients engagement, which is also one of the problems that your users raised, but it doesn't really match your product mission. So once you have identified the core objectives, it's time to make them more specific, measurable, and achievable. So depending on the identified time frame, you might want to have more than one key result. For example, increase leads generated by 20% and increase conversion rates by 15% can be really good key results. However, here you must ensure that you can also measure the results of these set goals. So at this point, you should have your baseline, and you also have some tools to actually measure the impact once you complete certain developments. So how to use this in prioritization? Once you have your objectives, the next would be to prioritize your requests against the objectives. And for that, you can use many different prioritization frameworks. One that I would advise to use, or at least to try to use, is called RISE, where you try to identify reach, impact, confidence, and effort for each of the items that you want to prioritize. So for instance, here you identify that adding A/B testing feature to email campaigns has high reach because it can benefit to many clients you have. It has high impact because it will target conversion rates. And you also have high confidence because you have enough data to support effectiveness of testing features. And of course, effort, something what you need to work with your engineering team to identify how costly it will be to build. With a limited development team, you want to allocate a significant portion of your resources to developing the A/B testing feature, while other requests with lower RISE scores can be lower on your priority list. So essentially, after this step, you will get a prioritized list of all the features that correlate with your objectives and the link to which exactly objectives they will drive. The next step is to have team's consensus. And to foster it, you would probably hold a meeting that involves your product team, designers, and customer support. So present the prioritized features to them and discuss their importance in achieving your goals, such as leads generation and conversion rates. Ensure that everyone actually understands the rationale behind the choices of building and not building certain feature requests. And lastly, in the real-world application phase, you would implement this A/B testing feature and monitor the impact on lead generation and conversion rates. So here you have to track the key metrics and your client's feedback. Based on the results, you continuously to optimize the both product and features, and you also adjust the strategy for future enhancements. So this example actually demonstrates how to apply the prioritization strategy to a B2B marketing automation platform, how to focus on that focuses on lead generation and conversion rate improvements. This example also showcases clear objectives, precise prioritization, and resource allocation. It also explains how to get team's consensus and what to do after you launched a feature. So now let's get back to the example from the beginning of the presentation. As a reminder, this was just my personal experience where I managed a reporting tool used by both internal and external users. So do we have any comments on what could be done better here?
Lily, I think everyone is afraid to make mistake. I think that is
Okay.
why I don't see any replies. But I think once you will share your experience and what was done right and wrong, then people will gain useful experience and use it in their professional career.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I was preparing for this, and while working on the slides, I identified two areas. The first one is I went to the meeting with stakeholders without a clear product mission that I could actually use to filter out their requests. If everyone has their own list of priorities, it indicates that there is no alignment and the expectations from the product are too different. And as a result, I jumped to prioritization without identifying the core objectives and key results. So we ended up building everything the users wanted, and the product became overcomplicated for both users and the engineering team. So those two are the things I would change today. And let me know, maybe you think differently, maybe you disagree with the proposals, but hopefully it sparked some ideas, and maybe it also will help you in the future. So now let's go to the key takeaways from the presentation. Cohesive product strategy starts with a strategy that allows you to clearly prioritize and foster the team's alignment. Starting with the research that will fit into the core objectives and key results, you come up with a goal-oriented roadmap that helps you to clearly communicate both outputs and outcomes to your clients and stakeholders. So again, as a reminder, if you never worked with goal-oriented roadmaps, I suggest you to search for Roman Pichler Go Roadmap and check out the template he has. And that's actually it from me. Do we have any questions?
So thank you so much, Lily, once again for this fruitful presentation, these steps. I'm sure that our audience, the people who watched it, gained great knowledge and experience that can be used in their professional careers. Actually, I don't see any questions in the chat, but I prepared for our talk today and I have some. So the first one is actually, I listened to you attentively, and on one of your slides, I saw words crafting and discovery. And do you think, or maybe you know exactly, are there any situations when you only focus on crafting or discovering, or they always go together?
Yeah, thank you for this question. Yeah, so when it comes to craft and discovery, there are situations where you use one of them. So, for example, with crafting strategy, the main scenario would be that when you enter a new market or you develop a new product where the market conditions are already known and the market doesn't change rapidly. So you can use a crafting approach when the market is stable and you don't expect any major disruptions. Discovering strategy is more about rapidly changing and evolving markets, or when you come up with really innovative products and ideas. There you would need to continuously discover and uncover new insights about the markets, the users, adjust your strategy until you actually reach the market fit.
Okay, thank you so much. So now we got the question from YouTube, and it is it actually practical to have measurable goals for every feature?
It's a good question. If your features don't align with the goals that you set, then it might be quite difficult to justify why you're building it. However, there are situations when you want to explore new things, and this actually comes back to this discovery phase. So if you want to discover certain part of the market, if you want to discover a new market fit, like if your product can shift a bit into the new direction, then sometimes it's really difficult to identify the objective from the beginning. And it's about exploration.
Yeah, and also for a new product, once we touched it, maybe you have kind of baselines that would be beneficial, like maybe studying your market. What else?
Yeah, of course. It's all comes back to the competitors analysis. So you really need to understand the basically the market that you want to enter. So you want to know who are your competitors, what kind of clients they already have, what are the strengths of your competitors, and what are their weaknesses. So you might want to really review their products if it's possible. But yeah, sometimes it's just impossible to create an account in competitors tool. So it's a challenge, but market research is the key here. I hope
Yeah,
it answers the question.
actually, one of my next question was about the situation when you analyze competitors and it's impossible to create an account and try upon
Mhm,
product yourself, but you already replied. Maybe the one of the finals one from my side, if you don't have direct access to your customers, what to do?
mhm.
What will be the
Yeah.
solution?
Yeah, I actually worked in one company where I didn't have a direct access to the customers, and it was quite a challenge because you're building product blindly. Um, but what we ended up doing is there are services that allow you to hire people for research, and what we did is we created prototypes that we used through the user interview sessions, and we were able to at least gather some insights about people from the industry, not specifically from the companies that already have been using our product, but just in general, the industry experts that have their own opinion, have their own use cases, and it helped us a lot. And it actually proved to be a right approach because when we released the features to the customers, they liked the user flow, they liked how we addressed the problems.
Okay, so now YouTube is back at work again. So we have one more question.
Mhm.
How will you control the inflow of new technology and how you're going to add enhancement in your existing product? What kind of techniques and measures you take in prioritization? What do you think? So maybe I will try to rephrase. So once you have existing product, how
Mhm.
will you control the new technology? Should it be added or not? Should it be added? Like, what is the prioritizations? So, should it
Yeah.
be added as soon as possible, or you can spend some time and decide do you need it or not?
Well, adding new technology to your product for the sake of new technology is not the right approach, in my opinion. And um, again, I would circle back to what are the objectives of your product and can they be solved with the new technology? One thing that comes to my mind is AI. Like everyone is eager to add AI to their products because it's a buzzword and people want to stand out, especially when it comes to competing with their competitors. So, of course, adding new technologies that can showcase that you're technically more advanced than your competitors is relevant. But you also need to balance and you need to be really cautious with how exactly you apply them. So, check your objectives. See if the new technology can help you to achieve the key metrics that you've identified, and then it's up to you to decide and to score this item. Again, use the prioritization technique that you want, but from my example, I would suggest to use rice, where it will clearly indicate if the effort will bring you enough results.
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, once I was entering business analysis career, I was also taught that once you have something new and there is a request, first of all, just learn and study. Do you actually need it? And then, if you
Mhm.
need it, then next steps, prioritization, and etc. So, Lily, thank you so much for this wonderful presentation and communication and answering questions. I hope that our audience enjoyed it. Just again, I will remind you that you still can leave questions to Lily on the agenda page. You can also rate the talk of the speaker if you like it on our community page. Also join us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and the next speaker, the next topic will be going from idea to execution in Mira. So I hope you enjoyed this almost 1 hour. Enjoy your day. Good luck and bye bye.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure.